Thanks for joining me. This is Danny and welcome back to my Real Tech series. The plan today is to complete this rail network that we started in the last episode. And basically in the last episode all we did is this one little stretch so that we can set up all of the infrastructure that we needed in order to make the tracks, the high-speed rails that we're doing with Railcraft. So far it's running from here to here. It's going to hop from this island over to this island, and then from this island onto the mainland, and then it's going to head into this village. I might end up elevating it so that we don't hit any villagers, because we're going to be using steam locomotives, which will kill the villagers if it hits them. And then we're going to go up to this next village, which is, if you remember from a long time ago, this is our taiga village where we stayed in order to catch freezes in this biome over here. So, and we may continue it up into this area. I actually created a little campsite up here a while back, which you might see in a later episode. This is going to be a really long network and with a few stops along the way. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. And then when I'm done setting up all the trains, we're going to come back and we're going to make a few train stations. A lot of this building kind of stuff I'm going to be doing with a time lapse. So you're not going to have to sit and watch me do and place every little track and all that, of course. You know, I'm going to edit this, I'm going to have a time lapse. And we're not going to use the locomotive quite yet. I'm going to put that in here. And we're going to be using our Steve's cart, which already has a bunch of stuff that we need on it. It's got a drill, which we're not going to use yet. It has a railer, which we're going to be using to place vanilla rails. And then we also have this relayer. Now the only thing we can lay with the Steve's carts, if you remember from the last episode, are vanilla rails. We want high-speed rails through all the straight stretches. So we're going to use the track relayer to pick up the rails that this guy sets down and place high-speed rails. I wanted to replace regular tracks with high-speed rails, or with high-speed tracks. But we don't want us to do that all the time. We only want to do it during the straight stretches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the high-speed tracks out of here. And I'm going to be sitting in this cart right here. And whenever we want to start laying high-speed tracks again, we'll just pop those in this chest, which will make them available to this guy. We can use our steel crowbar to connect even Steve's carts with other carts, which is pretty nice. So far so good. This is all high speed. I hope this isn't too much of a grade that's gonna blow us up. We'll see. We'll see if we blow up. We're about maybe a little over halfway to the village. We've gotten over all of the ocean that we need to, so the rest is all gonna be on land. Got a little bit of tunnel action going on. Nice. This is our first tunnel. We've reached our first destination, that village. I'm just double checking everything to make sure that we don't blow up, because I have not had the steam locomotive on this track yet. Just want to make sure we didn't miss any high-speed tracks so that we don't end up going on a regular track when we're at high speed, because of course that'll make the locomotive blow up. You can use the crowbar to remove the transition track kits. The first time you break it, it'll just remove the transition track kit and you'll be left with the track, the high-speed track in this case. I'm going to extend this all the way over since I decided to make this go all the way over there. So I'm just going to use a minecart and the track relayer. We don't really need Steve's carts for this part. We can just link these two carts and stick that in there, and then I have to give it one of these tracks. There. I'm going to lay that track down. So now I can just ride, and it'll replace the tracks. Oh, and it's going to throw them because I don't have the the chest cart back there. Where's the chest cart? Oh, I left it back there. Crap. Whatever. That's fine. We're here at our destination. I have not tested this with the steam locomotive yet, but we're going to do it right now. I'm a little nervous because there's a couple little spots that I'm somewhat iffy, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's a couple spots where there's hills, and I'm hoping that I set up enough of the transition tracks to account for those. So we're letting our train warm up at the moment, our locomotive. Got to get up to 100 degrees, and then it'll start giving us steam. All right, now we've got enough, so I'm going to get in here, and we're going to go. So we're at high speed. We're plenty hot enough. We got enough steam, and now we're running. Here we go. Whee! This is really fast. Nice. Now we're slowing down here. Okay, we're good. We didn't blow up. Oh, look at how far that steam is behind us. Crazy. Whee! Nice. Now, this is the part I was worried about because we went down that hill, but it seemed to be okay. We're not dead. Here we go again. Whee! Oh my gosh, I really like this. This is fun. And it's fast. Okay, so far all the transitions are doing okay. We haven't blown up. This is all slow through here because we're doing a lot of twists and turns. Now we're heading home. Nice. Oh, we hardly used any steam at all. I'm going to turn it around, and this time it's going to push us. And we'll be able to see a little bit better. Because now we're like on the front row of the roller coaster. So I was a little worried about some of these hills, but because we're slowing down after a hill there. Now that was a spot I thought was a potential place where it would blow up. Oh, that's so cool how the smoke persists for so long. This was another one because we had this big downhill, but I put a transition track right there just to give us a little boost when we're going this way and to slow us down a little when we're going that way. Okay, we're still intact. We're still doing well. Nice. Now we're gonna stop. Whoa! What? What? Wait, let's just go to idle. Why is that doing that? Wait, what? No! What are you doing? We're gonna build a train station here, but first I'm gonna continue building some more track. This next stretch might be a little easier. That took a lot of time. That was several hours. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little train bridge going over the road here so that we don't run over any villagers or anything, because the locomotive will kill a villager if it hits it. Actually, I'm going to shut that thing down because now that I don't use the locomotive when I'm laying new track because there's too many things that can cause it to blow up if things aren't completely done. the last stretch of track at the taiga village, right on the edge of the tundra, and in my area where I kill my freezes for freeze rods is right over there. But we are heading into winter, so we might want to get out of here, head back to the other side, and start building our train station over there. I haven't taken the steam engine on this part of track yet, so it's hopefully it's all good. We'll see. So there's going to be a train station here, but we'll build that later when it's not so cold. It's going to get very cold here. It's going to snow, and yeah, it's going to be pretty nasty. We don't want to be here for that. This is definitely the most scenic leg of the journey. We've got lots of nice views in the Taiga Hills over here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I even cleared away a few trees here, and we still have the autumn leaves. Yeah, I love this stretch. We're coming to the end of our last leg. We're heading into our spawn village in a second here. It's a crazy noise. Oh, and there's our little ravine bridge. We'll make that bridge look cool. Need a spawn village. I put some fences up, and actually we're on the bridge now, the train bridge that I made before. I don't know if I showed you that yet. We'll have to take a look at that. Now we're going to fill up with water. I have my pallet picked up for my first train station. I also did a little bit of building over here just to make it easier to get back and forth, because I was kind of getting tired of bouncing across the train bridge and having to jump over the cart all the time. So I made a little bridge over here. It's almost identical to the one over here, but it's a little narrower. And this is the pallet. So treated wood. I've got these fitted abyssal stones, which are the abyssal stones are actually from Railcraft, and you I have a chest over here with a bunch of blocks in it. They're blocks, they kind of look like stone, like Minecraft vanilla stone. But after you smelt them, you get a block like this abyssal block. And then when you craft it, you get that. And then when you keep crafting it, you get something different. So like, here's abyssal brick. Oh, actually, that's the end of the line. So that gives you that, and then that gets you that. Which, ooh, I kind of like that. So I'm going to go with one of those two as kind of a foundation. Actually, I'm already using those as the block underneath the rails in this area. So what I'm kind of going for, this build, or at least this palette, is going to kind of tie together a lot of the materials I'm using over here and the materials I'm using up there in my factory build. So it's a lot of the same ones, but a little bit different. And the style that I'm going for is kind of like a old Western train station kind of thing. So I'm going to have like a platform here and an overhang with some like supports that have like the Y things on them or whatever. So it'll look kind of like an old Western, except with, you know, these kind of materials that we're using here. train station is done. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple build, but I think I like it. It's a Western style build. I'm not 100% crazy about the roof, but I'm going to keep it for now and think about it as I build the other 2 train stations that we're going to build. But I like the shape of the roof. I'm not sure about the material. It's an oak variant from Chisel, and it's the braid variant. So it doesn't look too bad from this side, but from the other side, like from up here, which is probably where we're going to see it the most, there's so much of it. So I'm not so sure. But other than that, I really like it. I like the little details with the spruce wood. And then this door is from Deckercraft. And then the inside is nothing right now. It's just this. And then up here, I moved our infinite water supply. Actually, I rerouted our tracks, as you may have noticed before. So now when the train comes in, it's going to go around the back of the building. And here we're hiding a few things. It's going to come through here. It's going to fill up right here. There's the fluid loader, so it's going to fill up with fluid right here. And then it's going to come around here and pick up the passengers, because we're going to be waiting here as passengers, waiting for the train. We'll be able to see the train come, and then we'll know, oh, the train's coming soon. We got to get ready to board. And we can also watch it from our windows inside. This is our little maintenance attic here. So I'm going to do 2 more somewhat similar to this, I think, in the villages. I used architecture blocks for the roof this time, which instead of using chisels or chiseled blocks, like custom chiseled blocks like I usually do, like I did for that build and for that one. So it saved me a lot of time, but it also made it not quite as detailed as what I usually do. I really just use chisels and bits for like some of the trim stuff. So the windows are all chisels and bits. They're basically custom made windows. And then these are chisels and bits, of course. I'm not even sure what you call these things, the little support things, and these posts. This is actually architecture block, but then I made it. This is chisels and bits, so I tried to replicate it with chisels and bits over here, because I couldn't put it in the same block with this post. All 3 train stations are complete, and this is my least favorite one. I actually like the other 2 better, but I like this one too. I especially like these. I didn't do these on the other train station, or on the others, I did learn a few things along the way. I had several explosions while using the while using the high-speed tracks, and honestly, sometimes it just seems like they're happening randomly. But I did notice a few patterns that the explosions tend to happen more when you're pushing rather than pulling. So I'm going to avoid having the locomotive pull. And I also noticed that they happen on hills. So what I've done is I've flattened out a lot of the hills on the high-speed rails, and I've also slowed us down. As you can see, I have a booster track, a single booster track at the bottom and top of each hill, in order to slow you down a little bit when you're going into the hill and to speed you up when you get out of the hill. Here's our first train station, and I'm going to shut this, or turn that into idle mode. So here's train station number 1. I kind of swapped the walls and the roof on this one. So I've got oak wood for most of it. I really like the combination of oak and spruce bark. I just think they look really good together. Of course, these are the Architecture Craft balustrades. I just used full spruce wood planks here just to save a little bit of time. And on the top, I have these treated wood planks crafted into this pattern, which is, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but if I break one, we can look. It is packaged planks. And then I used Architecture Craft wedges for, obviously, the roof here, the roof slope. And then again, we have our DecoCraft door. I've got a few items out here. There's some of our items that we were using. And here's the inside, which has nothing in it right now but a light. But eventually we may make use of these. I think the one that we have at our base is probably just going to be mostly for show. But this one and the one at the other village we'll probably use to like store some things in the village. It'll kind of be like our base at the village. And then I also put up a windmill so that I could do a powered lantern. That was kind of like the quickest way for me to get a little bit of power here, so that we can kind of keep the mob spawning down in the village and not lose our villagers to zombies and such. All right, let's move on. We're full of water, we're full of steam, we got enough charcoal, so let's go. Here we're going across our bridge, which we saw already before, and you can see we slow down a little, and there we slow down again. Now we speed up. I'm just doing a single transition track there, so I think that should be enough to get us slow enough to handle the hills. I leveled out a lot of this terrain. Okay, so let's put that on idle. And here's train station number 3. Hooray! Very, very similar to the last one. Slightly like the same materials, of course, a slightly different configuration with our little tower here, our filling tower, which we may use for some other things. We may use this to also fill up coal, coal and whatever else. Maybe even RF. We could carry RF back and forth between places. And then I also, again, I have the windmill powering 2 powered lamps in this village. It's a slightly larger village. So in the next episode, we are going to pretty up the tracks. It's going to be kind of a big project because, of course, we have a lot of tracks, and the hardest part is going to be these long bridges. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet to make those look nice. Oh, that's weird. I don't know what I'm going to do to make those look nice. It's going to be a challenge to make them look like realistic and supported because they're so long and there's like nothing underneath them to support them. So yeah, we'll work on that next time. Bridges, tunnels, and just like basic track decorations along the way. So I do hope you join me for that. Of course, if you did enjoy this, don't forget to click the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.